Welcome everybody to the Watchlist, your virtual TV guide here every Sunday. We're ready to go over all the shows that get released on streaming and of course set you up with what's coming up next week so you can create your very own watch list. If you want the best recommendations, this is the show to be. And of course, as always, helping me make those recommendations is my very lovely co-host, and that's of course I am the beauty of the beholder. That is live from Houston. It's Senor Jaime, aka Chewy. What it is, big bro?
Happy Sunday again,
Happy
brother.
Sunday. Yeah, I'm recording a Sunday in a couple weeks. And actually, we are gonna
Mhm.
do after this show. We're gonna come back in 2 weeks. Potentially, we may do a show next week. We're not sure. But that being said, we're gonna set you up with 2 weeks worth of programming. Not a lot dropping over the next couple weeks in terms of
Well, it
quantity.
is a holiday
Right. In
weekend,
terms
so
of
for good
yeah, the
reason.
quantity is low, but the quality should be high. You got some big, like really big releases coming out. So that should satisfy your urge for streaming the next couple
There it
weeks.
goes. There it
And
goes. There it goes.
well, Legos notwithstanding, we'll continue here. But that being said, there's a lot. This is a big week, another big week. So there's a lot of stuff you guys may want to catch up on. So we'll let you know if it's worthy of your time to do so. So Chewy, let's get on with it here because there's a lot of stuff. The first one that came out was HBO Max, and that is The Time Traveler's Wife. I guess a novel. I know there's a movie about that a few years ago.
With Eric
Eric
Bana, if I'm not
Bana, not
mistaken.
exactly a good thing, but whatever. You
Hulk
know,
smash.
exactly. So this is more where we have, I guess, the book's based off this time traveler who, falls in love and marries a particular girl, and then he travels through time constantly. He's in constant motion, so to speak. So they meet
Yes.
up in different
hmm
timelines and all. It sounds kind of confusing, but whatever. So Chewy, HBO. So HBO usually does pretty good. How do you do with this one? I know they give us one episode to be fair, but
Yeah, I never saw the movie. I'm familiar with it. I think this came out early 2000s, if I'm not mistaken. At least the
sounds
movie
right.
anyway. I'm not sure about
Yeah,
the
sounds
novel.
right.
But like I said, it wasn't bad. I mean, it's just one episode. Interesting, right? This guy, for whatever reason, seems to be traveling uncontrollably, randomly, forwards and back from whatever timeline. Like he visited himself as a kid to set him up. He comes back to meet his wife before he was his wife. Doesn't have any memories of that because it hasn't happened yet, and they leave it with a little bit of a cliffhanger ending as ending as far as the first episode, where he's traveled back to his own time, I guess, or wherever his base time is, at least with one character, because the way they portray the show, they do a pretty good job of saying, okay, this is X, he's from year X, and she's in year X, and she's this old, so it kind of frames out, because if not, it'd be very hard to follow who's who and what's what and what timeline they're crisscrossing each other from, right? So, but I think that's a pretty good job of laying that out, and to leave it with the ending where he comes across, he travels again, or he sees something traveling, and he sees just nothing but a pair of feet, right? Who, when, why, who knows? But that's kind of where it kind of leaves it off. And I find it interesting. We've seen plenty of time travel genre shows since this movie came out. Probably sums it up way better than this, to be quite honest with you. Dark. Can go back and catch that if you can, 3 seasons. But I mean, like I said, it's not bad. It's interesting. It's a love story, right? It's what it's come down to. It's a love story.
Yeah, I'm on the fence on this. It's only one episode, and it's hard to get a gauge, right? So you can judge it,
Mm-hmm.
what we're getting. Fine. It's I don't know. I'm just a little bit off put by this show. It's because I think they gave us way too much early, right, for first episode. You can introduce the premise of time travel, fine. We know what the show is about, but if this is a love story, the focus should be on the two main characters, and I felt they spend more time giving us this time travel element and just giving us so much. And this happened, this, and goes back, and he's a kid and not a kid. It's a lot to digest in one episode at the expense of the characters. Because I don't even know if I like the guy, and we got what's this guy, Rose Lily, is that her name?
Rose Lily
Yeah,
and Theo
yeah, of course,
James,
Rose Lily
Ritter.
from Game of Thrones. So I don't know, man. I'm on the fence. It's
Mm-hmm.
just I don't know what to expect. I wasn't looking forward much to this show. I gave it a chance. I'll probably still give it one episode or two. Just HBO's other better shows going on, whether it be The Staircase
Mm-hmm.
or Hacks, for example. You know, uh, Minx. We talked about that. Better shows than HBO has to offer. I don't know if this is not better than any of those by any stretch. So I don't know.
Not
Not yet.
yet. Not
Could it
right
be?
now.
I don't think it is,
Yeah.
but I'm still on it for now. But it's not a high recommendation for me at all. Again, it's not. There's too much TV to watch to spend time with this. If you're a big fan of it, I get it. Just I don't know. It just didn't hit the mark for me right now. That could change in 3 or 4 episodes. I don't know. The next one, Netflix. This is a very popular docu-series that we've enjoyed. Love on the Spectrum. This is the first season here in the U.S., where the other two took place in Australia, if I'm not mistaken. But
Aussie, Aussie, Aussie.
I'm sorry. This is one where you have, obviously it's a dating show, so to speak, where these, there's certain individuals who are on various on levels of the spectrum, of course, autism, etc., who looking for love and trying to date, and this show is designed only for those who have something right here. If you're not something right here, it's called a little heart. This show's not for you. It's not. And I get it. Listen, some people got ice, a big block of ice, and fine. But
AKA the Northeast.
For the rest of us, for something here, this is a very sweet show. It's very endearing. You just can't help but root for all these people, and hopefully they can, find dating. And listen, autistic or not, women are cold. And this series, man, it doesn't matter, right? It does not matter. Women be women. But they kind of follow through, like, I think 4 or 5 different individuals, male and female, different ages. This is the first time we've gotten someone who's been, I think, 63, who was diagnosed only a few years back, right?
No, yeah, I think this season doesn't much, because I think previous seasons they were all relatively in the same age range, right? Fairly young, 20-something-year-olds, right? And this one take different steps to kind of expand. We have one who's 63-year-old living in San Francisco. One LA, Boston. I think one girl was from South Carolina,
so, yeah.
And whatnot. But they expose the vast spectrum and vast ages, right? Even they make a point of one of the coaches, life coaches or therapists, is someone who is actually on the spectrum herself, right? And she's coaching people on the spectrum with relationships and connecting with people. So that's obviously an interesting take. But it's for people with heart, man. I mean, it's some of it's a train wreck watching a little bit, especially on some of the dates. You're like there's like some cringeworthy moments in some of the dates. You're like, you can't have to watch, but. But it's not normal people, right? So you kind of have to understand that, right? Like the one, Indian guy or Pakistani guy who like just really throws the flowers to this day.
It's definitely a unique perspective on dating, right? We have really no way to. It's hard to relate because obviously we're not on the spectrum, right? But ultimately, like I always said before, right? When I talked about the show, it's hard enough when you're not on the spectrum to date, right? And what you got to deal with and put up with and all that, how much more difficult it is when you are on the spectrum to go out and date. But they did a really good job of kind of just, focusing on these people. And again, it's just so sweet and endearing. Like I said, it's hard for you not to say, God, I hope they find somebody. You want them to find somebody. So it's a really cool, fun, a good show. It's very lighthearted. It doesn't take itself too seriously, right? Despite the subject matter. This for me has always been a high recommend without question. So that's a good show. Again, on Netflix. I think it's like 6 episodes, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
it's a good watch.
Episodes,
it's a good, very good watch. The next one, let's go to Peacock, the cock, if you will.
Peacock.
Angelyne. This is, of course, based off a true story, which I really didn't know much about. I mean, before there was Kim Kardashian, before there was Paris Hilton, before there was hundreds of other non-talented IG models, there was Angelyne, right? Someone who had absolutely no talent that managed to make herself famous. And I'll give her credit where credit's due.
Well, hold on. Let's not say talentless individual, because that's oversimplifying and probably dumbing down who she is.
But I didn't finish it.
We're not here to insult anybody, okay? She had
what she had was she just. And this is before social media, so I give her all the credit in the world. It's easy to become famous with social media, have Instagram, Facebook, and
you can put a YouTube video, get viral, and there you go.
Her time,
put out a sex video.
Her hustling, what she able to hustle and really just take advantage of men, and not in a bad way, kind of say, but knew how to navigate through that, right? And especially in Hollywood in the 80s, where it's all about showmanship, and now it's really the peak of her powers. And she just, and I thought she was like a model. I really didn't know what she was about. I know she had a bunch of billboards, but those billboards were just about her. She was not advertising anything but her, right?
Just
She
her
put herself
name
out
and the
there,
number.
had this
That was it.
persona, very mysterious, and got famous. And good, listen, good for her for doing it. Again, what she did is difficult to accomplish in that time, right? Where you have to, again, and now yeah, the billboards and all that's not free. Yeah, there's no
No
internet,
internet,
right? She drove
no
around in a
social
little car,
media,
like,
three basic
yeah,
TV channels,
absolutely,
and
yeah,
the advent of
yeah,
cable
absolutely.
TV.
So good.
No
So kudos to her.
iPhones.
Yeah, listen.
No cell
I mean,
phone. Period.
she wasn't.
Yeah.
I'm not saying talent. She wasn't an actress. She wasn't a singer or writer or whatever. She was just a persona, right? A brand. And yeah, it really was.
She
And
was a
I'll give her
marketing
credit for
guru at
that,
the
where
end
she
of the day.
took advantage of a very limited resource time to become very famous and wealthy. So good for her. It's an interesting story, really. I didn't know anything about this, and I enjoy it. Listen, it's a very quirky
Mm-hmm.
show. I love the main character. She's great as Angelyne. It's very fun. It's told in a fun way. It's part.
No, and it's got some a B-ish type
Yeah,
actors,
yeah.
right? That we've seen in some shows like what the guy from Wakanda, Freeman. He was a
Yeah.
Hobbit, and he's been in part. You like go, can't remember his name. I mean, these guys got
No, there's some good
chops,
people in here.
man.
It's yeah,
And so some of the guys you
yeah,
might
fun show. It's
recognize.
well done. So
Yeah,
it's kind of part mockumentary.
and but it's told from like a multi
Yeah,
perspective view because they're interviewing. Obviously they're interviewing the actors that made them look older, remembering when they were when they are attached with Angelyne. But and there's obviously a lot of back and forth, a lot of he said, she said, right? Where like I think in the first couple episodes, her first boyfriend, had pictured a certain way if something happened. She's like, no, that's not how it happened. Let's
yeah.
go back and watch how it really happened. And they're like, do we have to? And so they kind of rewind and say, no, this is how it
Right,
at least like from
right,
her
exactly.
mind
And
of
you
view,
really know
what
exactly
really
what's true or not,
transpired.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and so
the
there's
truth
a
spot
lot
is
of that.
somewhere in the middle, right? And
Yeah,
again,
yeah. And even when interviewed the daughter as an older individual, she says that
yeah,
never happened. This is what so there's always a lot of people feeding into what the story was. But I think they did a pretty good job of kind of laying the big points of her life and how she went from a virtual nobody in late '70s to I
I
guess an
guess, yeah, it's fair to
iconic
say, yeah,
character
especially in Hollywood, an
persona
icon for
person.
that time. I don't know how, I don't think she's that well now, but I don't know as far as yeah.
No, probably not now. It's been a while, right? But I mean, at the peak of
Oh no,
the
yeah,
the '80s,
yeah,
early '90s, I mean, you couldn't drive her in LA without
yeah, she
seeing
was
her
everywhere. Yeah,
billboard, right? And or her merchandising, like that, like that. All I'm thinking is
she's
Spaceballs.
all about the
Merchandising,
merchandising,
merchandising. Spaceballs the
and
cereal.
she worked that system, and good for her for that, Yeah,
The
she
flamethrower.
adorbs. She worked the system, but listen, it's a good fun show. At the end of the day, it's an interesting story. I didn't know much about.
Yes.
It's very lighthearted.
Lighthearted.
It's
Yes.
kind of interesting narrative that they choose to use to tell the story. I like it a lot, so it's a recommend for me. I think Peacock released all 6 episodes. They usually don't do that. But it's a limited series,
Yes.
5 episodes, sorry,
That's
limited
five
series. So
episodes
yeah, I
actually.
think it's a recommend for both of
Five
us. I think
episodes.
at this
Yes.
point, but I enjoyed it.
No, it's good fun.
Yeah,
It's good for Peacock, man. Since they took away,
yeah.
Saved by the Bell
Not
from
sure
us.
this really replaces that, but fair enough. The next one, AMC Plus, which doesn't give us a lot, but they usually give us good quality, right? Um, the
Well, they gave us
a
obviously
great
Gangs
show,
of
of
London,
course. Yeah,
great
that was
show. You know, the guy,
the
the
Dirty
Black
Black Bag,
Bag,
which
or
I
the,
enjoyed. Yeah,
whatever
the
that
63rd
Western that we
Street's
just
been
saw,
solid,
Dirty Black Bag.
a
Yeah,
solid watch on
yes,
the part. So this new one
yes,
here is based
absolutely.
off a film. I didn't know that, a movie came out in the '60s. Michael Caine. It's called, if I'm saying this right, Ipcress File. It's a Cold War
Correct.
spy thriller, right? Takes place in the '60s, so it's a remake of that.
Mm-hmm.
Where we have this, I guess a soldier, a former soldier, but he's now hustling in the form of I guess what's the right word? Not export. What's the word I'm looking for? Smuggling. Thank you. Yeah, he's smuggling,
Smuggling.
contraband across, country lines and whatever. There's no
It's
weapons.
not
There's no
smuggling
weapons.
weapons. It's like candy bars, cigarettes. Making use of
Of
the
course.
military network
Yeah.
logistics of taking
But
skimming
still,
off the
it's frowned
top.
upon in the eyes of the authorities at the end of the day. So, he ends
Of
up getting
course, of
caught,
course,
but
dude.
now he apparently now he has information on an individual who the government has been looking for, because apparently there's a scientist that got kidnapped by the Russians, and the scientist is poised to change the nuclear weapons situation. So obviously it's a big deal, particularly in the '60s. So there's a guy who may have information of which the smuggler may know, so that they cut a deal to get him out of jail to help him out, right? So he becomes a spy from the momentarily speaking. Chu, let you go first here. Little old adage, age before beauty. So go ahead and let me know what you thought about the show.
Oh, thank you. It's good watch. It's good. Like I said, only one episode, so it's hard to judge, but they give us laid out who this character is, right? And obviously, even when he's let out to help,
Of
he's still
course.
trying to find a way to
Yeah,
get
of
out,
course.
and they still catch him again, right? To a secret locker, and all of a sudden, his passport and plane tickets. Like, hey, where are you going? Not so fast. So, but yeah, like I said, I don't know if I think you mentioned this might
I don't
be
think it is.
based
No,
on the
no, it's
trial.
not.
It's completely
Yeah.
fictional. Okay, so that's what I thought. I didn't even know about the movie, but I'm enjoying it. Right, like I said, it's a good thriller, Cold War spy
Yeah,
show.
I'm with you 100%. I've
You
been,
know, it's not Mission
well,
Impossible. It's not over the
obviously not.
top,
This is more,
ridiculous.
yeah, yeah.
Just laying out more grounded
Right.
spy thriller, spy versus spy, U.S. versus
Exactly,
Russia,
and I'm
etc.
with you. I enjoyed it. Actually, I liked it more than I thought I was going to like it, and I think I liked it even more than you. I enjoyed it, man. It has a nice tone to it, right? It doesn't take itself
Mm-hmm.
too seriously. I like the characters; it's really
Mm-hmm.
good, I like a good spy thriller. And again, one episode, so it is what it is, right? But they give us enough to kind of lay the groundwork, right, without giving us. It's not
Yeah.
convoluted. Sometimes with spy shows, they give you so much shit going on. You're like, okay, this is the focus really on the guy and the mission for now, anyway. But it's good. It's a good watch. I actually enjoy this a lot. It's probably one of the better shows that I saw this
Mm-hmm.
week. Which says a lot because we got a lot of shows coming out this week.
Good.
So it's a recommend for
Mm-hmm.
us for sure. The next one we have on Apple Plus. That always gets me excited. At least it was anyway. Now and then. This was I know what you did last summer, kind of the on the schedule. I like to use that phrase, but it's not really true. But we have here, to some degree it is,
Yeah.
right? To some degree.
This is not to be confused with
No,
the
no, no,
one
no,
from
no,
last summer
not
Amazon
at all.
Prime reboot.
No, this
No,
is
no,
not
no.
that. But
Yeah.
it just part of the premise is somewhat like that. But either way, we have a
A
group of
group of, yeah. Well, see, I hadn't even watched the trailer. I just saw it. I got the plus on that, right? But this is a group of 6 individuals, college age, in South Florida.
Miami.
Your
True,
hometown, my former hometown,
true.
Mary. This is actually more of a Spanish show than it is
Which
in
I didn't
English,
know.
even though
Yeah, I
it's in
didn't know.
Miami. Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. And it's funny because one of the main actors, individuals of the main five anyway, we've seen him
Narcos.
from Narcos Mexico. He played
Yeah,
the little sailor. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I see where this is going. It's more Spanish telenovela
yes,
type of show.
sort of.
Okay, sort of right. So it's a cast and crew, right? But it still takes place in Miami. There's a lot of back and forth to English and Spanish, probably more
But
heavily on the
it's
Spanish
I would
than there
say
is
yeah,
on
at
the
least
English.
more
But
heavy
has
to
Rosie
the Spanish,
Perez.
but it's
Yeah.
Spanglish, which is appropriate for Miami because that's just how we do it down here. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah, of
right.
course. It's everyone's shuffling back and forth to English and Spanish, honestly.
How we do it. What can I tell
No
you?
matter where you. So I mean, I'm enjoying it. It's not like it's not Severance, okay? But this is more of a straightforward mystery where they start laying out clues, right? First, it's an accident, but then we start uncovering the investigation. We now Rosie Perez is now the lead detective on a new case, but it's all related, right? Because it's 20 years after the original incident of something happened. And we get glimpse, but we don't get the full story until the first, 2 or 3 episodes. Then we start saying, "Well, oh, that," because they jump from where they're at to the accident to future, and there's a lot of back and forth, kind of filling in the gaps, right? So someone's blackmailing them. They get a bunch of money. They get the money together, and now one of them of five that were left turns up dead, and the
Of
money's
course.
missing, right? Until episode three.
Well,
We kind of start seeing
sure.
more what's going on, but okay. So we don't know who's blackmailing. The cops are trying to solve the original case from 20 years before, and now obviously this case is already because it's all part of that same group of individuals, right? So I mean, yeah, there's enough intrigue and mystery that it's making me, I want to see the next episode. I want to see the next episode.
It's not a bad show. It's not up to Apple standards. I think that's fair to say, right? What we've seen recently. I love
Probably that's why I said Spanish telenovela because I have
it
a little bit of
does.
that feel. Again, this is
No.
not
I'm
60 episodes.
probably
This is
eight. I'm
probably
thinking eight, but
eight or 10
yeah,
at
I
most.
shouldn't go more than that.
I'd say eight. Yeah. So it had a little bit of
No,
that
no,
feel, but not as not near the ham
of
or
course
the
not.
the dun dun
Agreed.
dun.
I absolutely agree.
Moments.
Yes, but it does
It's
have
a
some
little
of
more
those elements. It's
serious.
fine. I like. I find it more interesting when Rosie Perez is on screen and
Yes.
her going through the investigation. I like that. You know, I'm a fan of. It's more so, but he's
Yes,
outshining the other five
absolutely.
characters ultimately. I don't think that's a good thing personally for me. But listen, there's enough there. Again, it's a lot of shows coming out, right? And Apple Plus, which is giving us some great shit over the last 2 months, 3 months. There's other shows to watch on Apple Plus than this. I think that's fair to say. That are better.
I mean, if you're caught up, watch
sure,
and see.
fair enough. But if
I mean, this is probably more tailored for the Spanish-speaking
absolutely,
audience, to
and
be
I'll support
perfectly
it
honest with you as
obviously
well.
because Latin Nerd Network, and I'll keep
Yeah.
continue watching this show just for that reason.
Yes. I mean, it's in Miami, dude. You know, it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny they went to Miami University,
Yeah, I
but
know.
it's not the U. MIU or something weird. I'm like, I guess they're gonna say the
Come
right
on, guys.
for UM.
Come on, really. Um,
It's Apple. You have deep enough pockets for you can't license
Stop.
a UM.
Fair
Whatever.
enough. Listen, whatever. But then I know I'm with you.
I'm just saying.
I'm with
I'm
you.
just saying. It's not like they paid the school in a bad light. So I don't see why they can't just license. You pay them
You're
a
in
fee
Miami
and
for Christ's
using
sake.
the
So,
show.
but
But hey,
listen. That
whatever.
being said,
It's a school in Miami. That's not the University of Miami. Wink, wink.
you gotta love it. But it's fine. It's filler. How's that? I think that's fair. I think filler's fine. It's not a great
Yes.
show.
Okay.
If you're
Filler's
caught
good.
up,
Some
fair
good
enough.
filler.
If you're not caught up, or you're missing a lot of shows.
Yes.
I mean,
You made a
Severance,
hot
Shining
time for this.
Girls,
Yes.
After Party, Ted Lasso, etc. They're out there. They're out there.
Oh man, that episode. Speaking of Shining Girls, that last episode of Shining Girls, when I opened
Yeah.
Pandora's box, I was like, "Holy cow! This is nothing what I
No, I
thinking
agree.
or
Yeah.
expected."
Yes.
I was
Again,
like, "Wow,
we'll probably talk about the show in a couple
wow,
weeks. I think it's ending soon, but yeah,
yes,
that's much watch
yes."
TV, and I'll continue to say that. Netflix change gears. A little anthology series called Love, Death, and Robots, Volume 3. I've been a fan of this show. This is an animated anthology, right? Usually giving us first season was like 12, 13 episodes, I forget, and like 7 or 8 the second season. So like any anthology, right? You get your good shit, you get your crap, and you got some really stellar work, right? And this is no different. I haven't seen all the episodes yet. I kind of been jumping around and just kind of read some of the better ones. I've seen those.
I've seen the first four. I mean, they're not
Right.
in any particular order, but whatever they show up on my list,
Yeah,
I went to the first
I'm a
four.
fan of this show. I really am. I'll start with the obvious. The animation, not all of them, but most of them is phenomenal. There's some there, particularly I think this.
I mean, each story is a different
Yes,
animation style, right? From traditional 2D to 3D to anime type
CGI.
to
Yeah,
cutting edge CGI. I mean, very interesting and it goes into with the type of
right.
story that they're telling, right? The first episode
It's a callback
it's
to the
about three
first episode of
robots.
the first season.
It
Yeah,
kind of
very funny. I liked it.
yes, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Because this is kind of retelling the end of
a little
human
heavy-handed,
civilization.
but I like
Very
it.
point. Well, but
I
still,
know.
but I mean, it has to be because if you're
No,
not heavy-handed, people don't get. People don't
I can
see.
deal with that. But the robots, there's three characters. The little one, the short one, is funny as hell. It's
Oh, they're
funny, and
funny. They're
he
hilarious.
looks cute and
Yeah,
adorable, but he's like kind of a dick.
yeah,
But it's great, right? And you're right. And I think the second
yeah.
episode, David Fincher directed the second one, if I'm not mistaken. It's the one with the one with the
Which
giant
that was
crab and the
the
ship or whatever.
uh,
Yeah,
oh, that was
that
very
was a
interesting.
cool
That
one.
was a very cool
That
show.
was
But
cool. The
I
animation,
get
fantastic.
yeah, not
Yeah.
futuristic, but very
Was
yes. The
stellar. And there's
animation
another one.
was
I caught one
stellar.
towards the
Yes.
end, which is animation. It's probably the best one out of the entire all three volumes, as far as I'm concerned. Animation wise, it's phenomenal. Photorealistic,
Mm-hmm.
very cool. Story's okay, but that's what it is, right? It's not for everybody, ultimately. But if you're an animation fan, again, real quick, short stories, science fiction, kind of blended in.
10 to 17
Yeah,
minutes
yeah. There's some
tops
that are
each
7, 8
story,
minutes,
and
some
so
are
it's
17 minutes.
self-contained.
So
It's
they're very
great.
short, easy watch. But
Yeah.
I'm a fan of the series.
The zombie one,
I haven't seen that one
was,
yet.
was
Yeah,
hilarious.
yeah.
I like the little
I
zombie
skipped
one.
that, but I'm gonna go back to it.
Oh, that one. It's kind of if you remember like the little shaky balls, the little
Mhm.
the little snow globes. It kind of looks like you're looking through without the snow a snow globe, and it's gone in like four
Oh, okay.
times speed. So it's like quick, right? So it's like you looking at like that ant city of ants, and you see all the little models and stuff, and you see little people moving around and kind of going from A to Z. The civilization becomes a zombie
Okay,
apocalypse.
no,
So it's very
again,
funny. It's
it's
just
a cool
cute.
show, man. It's very cool, man. It's not, oh my god, it's gonna blow you away. Some episodes will kind of blow you away just by the animation, Anyways, it's a Pixar one with the rats, which I skipped to and saw that one, which is really kind of that's a very funny one, right? It was Pixar gone adult. Essentially, is what it was. Emmanuel Ratatouille with Rambo, cross Ratatouille and Rambo. Very interesting, right? Very cool. So it's good show, man. It's very entertaining. If like animation is recommended.
And I have to say that since you mentioned Ratatouille, I have to say I still can't watch that movie anymore, man. After hearing
Oh,
Patton Oswalt with the gills from The Boys, and it's completely ruined that
no, I
movie
can
for
still
me. I
watch it.
can't watch it the same way anymore.
But I get it. I get it. Um, so the next one is stick with Netflix. Is a Spanish show, The Wrong Side of the Tracks. It's just kind of about an older guy, right? He gets a modern day Archie Bunker, sorry, cross with Clint Eastwood, right, from El Camino, where he's racist. He is who he is in his way. He's a war veteran, and his granddaughter's kind of mixed in with the wrong crowd. He kind of takes it upon himself to be her caretaker, her guardian, if you will, kind of set her straight. Neighborhood's gone to shit, and he takes it upon himself to go up against the big bad wolf of the neighborhood, of course, the drug dealer. His name's Sandra or some of that. Chewy, what do you think about this one?
I had to make an executive decision because I have upcoming vacation that is going to limit my TV watching experience, and I said I have to cut some stuff out because there's some stuff I will need to finish before I leave.
I almost went that route.
Sorry.
I was like, okay, I guess a lot of shows, but I found time to watch it, squeeze in a couple, right? And I did 3 because some of the shows I've been watching, I'll wait till today or later this week to watch them to kind of go back, since this is a short week this week. It's better than what it should be, and I'll say that I like the old guy. He's just, I mean, he's a bad, he's racist. I mean, he's a get off my lawn kind of old guy. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? The old guy who's stuck in the past and set in his ways, and everybody's racist, and he's equal opportunity racist, and he just put a particular crowd, right? And it's actually not bad. I actually found it more interesting than I thought it was going to, which is why I almost skipped the show to begin with. Is it a great show? No, but it's fine. It's fitter. Again, I think I like this better now and then, to be honest with you. Yeah, I enjoyed it more. I think I had a better time watching this than that. So it's got some teen angst stuff that I wasn't a big fan of in this show, but with the granddaughter and her boyfriend, whatever. But yeah, it's not bad. It's a crooked cop and the drug dealers. It's got some interesting stuff going on. Some cool characters with the boy's mom is really good. Fully caught up. I recommend. Otherwise, it's again a lot of stuff to watch, but not a bad watch if you had your curiosity on this one. The last one, Chewy, this is one I was looking forward to the most. Night Sky. Not saying it was my favorite show. I'll say it right now. But and it's I think 6 episodes. Am I wrong? I think, or 8.
No,
either way, 8. but Amazon, they dropped all of them, which surprised me.
I thought it was episodes.
Obviously, I'm only seeing. I think I saw 3. And basically, we have here, Sissy Spacek and oh my God, what's his name? J.K. Simmons. Sorry, right? The older couple. They live in some Illinois, somewhere out in the middle of nowhere. They have their shed, and in their shed underneath it, there's this. It's hard to describe what it is exactly, but it lists this room that leads to another room with a glass window that have a view of other universe, other world skyline. Right? Who knows what it is, right?
It leads into another planet.
Or something, right? They don't,
a room in another planet.
Yeah, it's
so
they
it's
can
a doorway.
Go outside. They don't, because they tested out years ago and with rats and mice, and they end up dying. It's probably because of the atmosphere or whatever, right? So it's a mystery to them. All I know is it's just scenery to them, right? It's just something scenic they can go and enjoy every night or whatever. But unbeknownst to them, there's more on that going on, right? I guess there's this doorway that's there from other parts of the country, and then a group that kind of, I guess, is charged to protect it, something along those lines. I haven't revealed everything yet. It reminded me of Outer Range,
Well, it's not a part of the range; it's other parts of the world, right? And so the second episode, we get introduced to an Argentinian family, and because at the end of the first episode, when she goes to the room, someone is there, losing air. Something happened. There's someone in there, right? Yeah, and they don't know how, and they think he must have snuck in or something. But then the second episode, it tells. It's all in Argentina in Spanish, and they go through a little bit of exposition as far as through this. But all of a sudden, at the end with there's another door, right, that looks identical to the door that the older couple have. And you're like, oh, wait a minute, okay, we got a connected network somehow, right? And then they're going on from there.
One, they do actually, the door is used. and that is used. And yeah,
Okay.
so and
I haven't seen it.
it's
Okay,
almost
good.
like interdimensional doorway, I guess. So they travel from one location to another location, but they're all in
Mhm.
the U.S. though. So just not like they're Mars or whatever.
Mhm.
So there's a lot going on here, and interesting premise. I'll give credit's due. It just gives us more than what Outer Range did with its premise, particularly early on, where we kind of made us wait to like practically the end of the show for
Mhm.
anything kind of really interesting as far as that with the portal and obviously and the range that they owned.
Mhm.
Here they kind of jump on a little bit more, not as much as I would like. It's okay. It's solid. It's a little bit of a slog, to be honest with you. I felt watching. I think the first episode, I'm like, when I finished watching, I felt like I was just old as J.K. Simmons. I really did. I was like, oh my god, I think I aged. The portal's for everybody apparently. It ages you 20 years. I'm like, oh my god, whew, can we get somewhere quicker, right? But that being said, they're great in it, Spacek and Simmons. The premise is still interesting, and I'm holding on. But at the end of the day, it's not blowing me away. Joey.
Okay. Um, I probably feel the same way. I mean, I'm enjoying the performances, especially J.K.
It's always
Simmons, who's
great.
playing older gentleman. He's probably on the verge of mental
Yeah.
disorder, right? Where he's starting to forget, and man, he forgets his wife at the doctor's. He gets caught up in other things, and he forgets to put gas in the car. Something like that. But it's obviously they are together and they're going to be there until they die. They're not going anywhere, right? But they're getting stellar performances. Yeah, I wish the story would advance a little quicker, right? Especially as related to this doorway, this portal, this planet, wherever it is that they are. I want to see more of
Right.
that. And hopefully, I'm not sure if we're going to get that in this season, to be honest with you.
I,
But
I think based on where the third one left off,
we'll
I
see.
think we are, and I'll obviously have an answer to that next time. This is
Okay.
a show we probably circle back on in a
Mhm.
couple weeks. If we can do a show next week,
Okay.
but yeah, and this is kind of almost the other extreme, like Time Traveler's Wife, right? They give us too much of that premise, right? Not enough of the people. This one gives us too much of the people, not enough of the premise. There's a happy medium in there, right? You can give us some, character development and dive into the into the meat of it in terms of the premise and what's going on. They both lean into one into one, so it's interesting that kind of get something right in the middle. But this is a better show than that, I think personally. I think I think this could have it has a chance to be very very interesting by the time it's ending. I got a feeling, so I'm gonna stick around. It's
Okay.
a solid
Good.
show, and nothing else for them together. Really cool. They're really good. They're really good. So I give credit's due. So it's for me to recommend
Excellent.
for now. But that's what we have this week. So again, not great stuff, but good solid stuff. If you're caught up, there you go. If you're not caught up, I don't think there's anything here that I would say you have to watch now. Right? Am I right with that one? Yeah,
Not
right. Yeah,
this week.
yeah. There's good shows.
No,
There's good
not this
stuff,
week. There
right?
was a
Good,
lot of filler.
it's
There
good
was some
stuff.
good
There is.
stuff,
Yeah.
but nothing that's gonna move to the top
Right.
of your
Exactly.
watch
So
list.
there's other stuff that you should be watching. But that being said, next week I'm gonna give you 2 weeks worth of shows here, and there's only three shows a piece, so it's a very light week in comparison to what we've gotten in May. It's been pretty heavy, so this is time to
It's a
catch up.
light week, but it's a
Look, it's a
it's
big
a
week.
it's a must
There's
watch
2 weeks of
week.
must watch.
It
There's two
is
weeks of must
huge.
watch. So
Yes.
like I said, it's not quantity, it's quality. Well, not quality, but hopefully quality. And these most of the shows, at least three of the shows anyway, the big ones are shows that you're probably already watching, which is why I'm not too concerned about doing a show next week. Because if you're a fan of these shows, you're gonna watch it regardless, which I get and you should. But let's start with the first one. That's on the 23rd on Disney Plus. We got the Five Night docu series.
Apple Plus.
Apple
Apple Plus.
Plus. Oh, did I say Disney Plus? I'm sorry.
Yes, you did.
Apple Plus, my mistake. So I can easily correct the power of technology. Look, see Disney there, Apple, ta-da! So there we go,
Wah,
Apple
wah.
Plus. So that's Prehistoric Planet. Begins Monday, runs a 5-day event. Obviously, it's kind of
Mhm.
like a Planet Earth kind of deal, but with dinosaurs. So it's a lot of CGI
Yes.
recreation of what it is,
Yes.
and then they're narrated by somebody famous. I forgot who's the narrator here.
David
Um,
Attenborough.
there we go. So it looks cool, man. It looks interesting. So I'm gonna check it out. Again, it's not a whole lot to watch, so why not?
I mean,
Um,
it's Apple Plus production, but I mean, I've enjoyed a lot of those animal shows, especially narrated by him, nature,
oh no,
where
yeah, yeah.
they
I'm
put
into
a
that
spin
shit. Yeah,
on, raising a cub, raising a child, whatever,
yeah,
and showing the evolution. But this is now obviously mostly fictional. I think it's all based on dinosaurs, so it's all based on theory and
of
conjecture,
course.
right? But it's different, right? It's a dinosaur centric
Yeah.
animal
It was
show.
cool.
And so I think this is going to be very cool, very interesting, 5-part
Yeah.
event. Yeah, I'm
No, yeah, I'm
excited for
looking
it.
forward to this. I guess Apple Plus. So yeah.
And man, who doesn't love a good
Yeah,
dinosaur? Man?
who
Come on. I
those
mean,
those who
Jurassic
don't
Park,
have it
dude.
right
Here
here?
we go.
If you don't have it right here, you're not watching this either. Um, the next one for the Star Wars nerds like us, that's Obi-Wan Kenobi on the 27th, dropping 2 episodes,
Kenobi.
which I'm cautiously optimistic. I've spoken my mind many times, and they're explaining about the state of Star Wars. Looking forward to
And
it.
no, and I want to touch on that because I agree with you 100%. Eric has got to stop being an apologist for Star Wars, right? We have to get.
We
I mean,
gotta move forward.
and,
We gotta move forward.
we got to move forward. And you know what? I blame, I can't blame Kathleen Kennedy anymore. She is who she is, right? You know what you're getting. You hire Ron Howard, you know what you're getting. You
That's
bring
true.
in Kathleen Kennedy as the executive producer and leader of Star Wars, and after 10 years, you're thinking it's going to change. Folks, it's not going to ever change. So who's at the wheel? The head of Disney Plus, the head of Disney, the head of whoever is running their show when they acquired this property. We thought, all right, finish the trilogy and move on. And what are we getting? Okay, we got a mediocre trilogy. Made money, but it was still mediocre at best. Started great and ended horribly, right? And what else do we get? We get, the Solo movie, which is probably probably the worst of any of these Star Wars movies. But again, it was Solo, back into that universe. Rogue One was great, but they spent 2 movies to make one.
Yeah.
Okay, not great. And all these things that they promised, it's slowly but surely. Remember that big presentation? They had a big list of 20 things coming out as soon as Mandalorian hit. Like, oh, this is spaghetti time. And I even told you, and I told them, it's spaghetti. And what happened? When spaghetti, it starts to fall off the wall. And we've lost almost every single one of those properties they said they promised. Gone. To the 4 winds.
And what's coming out is all rehash.
Ryan Johnson trilogy, shelved. Another shelved. Patty Jenkins movie, creative differences. All these other things and shows. I don't know.
Coming.
Whatever.
That's a confirmed.
Okay, but
that's not enough, right? That's right. Everything else is just rehash. Even listen, I hope I like Obi-Wan. I'm looking forward to seeing it. But it's
remake, more of the same. Book of Boba Fett was just Mandalorian 2.5. Well, no, it was just Mandalorian 2.5. It wasn't Boba Fett. It was better with Mandalorian than it was.
And it wasn't that good.
We get the Cassian Andor
rehash.
Again. More rehash. We know he's dead.
Rehash.
So thank you very much.
Rehash.
They can't get out of their own way. They can't get. Well, it goes back at least 100 years.
I gotta see
so
who's in
at
it.
least they're going out.
Whatever. Listen, ultimately, yeah, it's obviously this could be a great show, could be a sucky show. I don't know. I'm enjoying it. I do wish they go.
But it's the same.
No, I know.
We know he's dead.
Exactly.
We know how this is going to end.
This has to be really good, right? But that being said, we're Star Wars fans. We're going to watch it because we're idiots. Is what we do. It is what it is, right? So hopefully, nothing else entertaining. Not like, yeah.
But I'm not have to be happy about it.
No. If it's great, if it's great,
oh
my God, Star Wars is back and let's do it. But listen, I'd rather get something good than something shitty. So for whatever that's worth. But that being said, listen, let's see. We'll judge it. 2 episodes on Friday coming up.
I'll watch. I'll be kicked out, but they can expand the universe in every other medium, but the visual one. The visual, they're still stuck in this Clone Wars to Force Awakens time period. That there's no other time. Nothing has happened aside from this. The whole universe is condensed to these 50 years, and that's it.
We got. So
enjoy.
It is what it is. It's sad, but we don't.
You can't blame Kathleen. She is who she is.
She gets some of the blame. I don't even want to get started with her because this will be like a 3-hour show at that point. But that being said, we'll watch it. We'll give our thoughts on it.
I always said this. She didn't renew her own contract. Okay, that's why I can't blame her. She didn't renew her own contract.
That's a fair statement. That is a fair statement. Listen, you put a kid behind the wheel, like it crashes. Where'd you give the kid the keys? That's there, right? That's on you. The next one, which obviously I think I'm looking forward to more, and that's Stranger Things season 4. I guess part one. I guess it's 2 volumes. Yeah,
Part one is
one
season
coming
4.
out in
Yes.
July. I think shortly thereafter. Almost like
Mm-hmm.
Ozark kind
Mm-hmm.
of thing. Is this the last season? Is that why they're doing this?
No, I think there's a season
Oh,
5.
so
Remember, I think originally this was supposed to be the last season, but because of the last delay of 2 years and the kids kind of aged
okay.
out, they had to expand it. So now they've grown up
Okay.
some,
Yeah.
right? There's a big time jump. But I think that what they did is then they moved the story to a 5 season arc
Okay. So we're
instead.
getting
And
volume
so,
2 and then a season
um,
5 next time. Okay. Gotcha.
yes,
Okay.
yes, at some point, yes,
Listen, looks.
yes. But this season has 9 episodes, looks like, and the last 2 or 3 are basically movie
That's
length
what I hear. Yeah,
episodes,
which is
which is
cool. Unusual.
unusual, a little unusual to say the least, right? Because I don't know how I feel about sitting through a 2 hour
Well,
episode,
it could be
but
like an
whatever.
hour. To
I
them,
mean,
an hour and a half is considered. Even an hour 20, technically speaking, it's considered a feature length kind of thing.
these are hour 40
Wow.
to hour 55 episodes. Now, this is full length
That's
movie
interesting.
episodes. There's
Okay.
no a minute, hour
This is
20,
that's an interesting
hour
way. Yeah.
30
So
Game of
that's.
Thrones.
I, let's see. Listen, I'm excited. I'm a big fan of Stranger Things. I hope they do it
No, I'm
justice.
not fan of the
Yeah,
show. It's
it's
just
interesting. Yeah,
interesting,
that the
how
kind
they
of
do
decision
it.
was
Yeah.
made. So that's kind of fascinating. So I'm looking forward to see what they bring to the table. And then the week after that, again, we got just 3 things. Well, 2.5 things really.
But
It's, we got on the first on Fox. We never mentioned Fox. So there you go, Fox. Congratulations. We got Lego Masters. I ain't gonna say anything else about that.
I do. You're
Whatever.
the,
Although
you're
I
the
have a second
worst,
here, I'm
dude.
gonna a
You're the
second
worst.
on the screen here. I'm actually gonna move over to the right here. We got the Interceptor. I believe that's a movie on Netflix, right? On this,
Yes, that's
I don't know anything
Netflix
about
movie,
that, so
which
I don't know. But it's Netflix, so odds are,
action as part of their action movie lineup. So take it with a grain
yeah,
of
I'm
salt.
sure. Yeah, but the action stuff has been mediocre. That's not a bad thing. It's been okay, a cool watch for free on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Why not, right? So let's see. But
Mm-hmm.
let's keep it real here. This is what we've all been waiting for a while, and that is of course season 3 on June 3rd of Los Niños. That's right, the boys coming back.
Billy Butcher
Which is
and
the
the
boys, which is to
boys.
me probably my favorite show on TV currently, at least one of them anyway. Yeah, I love this show. I know you're a huge fan of it as well, so I can't wait for this one. I really can't wait for this one. So we'll definitely, when we're back in 2 weeks, if it, yeah,
I mean,
we'll dive
when,
into
when
this.
you make my Funko collection one, you can see right in the middle, you had
There's
the season of A Train, Translucent, the Deep. So yeah, it's a favorite.
respect for the deep, dude. But yeah, this kind of show's great. I mean, if you're a fan of the show, you're watching it. If you haven't seen it yet, listen, it's not for everybody. I'll say that because it is first a superhero show, which not everyone's into. Fair enough. And it's very graphic, very mature. That might not be your cup of tea. I get it. But if you don't mind and you think that's graphic and mature, you like superhero shit. And this is not like a typical superhero genre, right? This is more like a deconstruction
No,
of the
this is
genre,
probably
right?
the
Yeah,
anti
it really
superhero
is. It really
show,
is. Yeah.
right? Where the superheroes are not super. They're super, yes, but they're not super people, right? They are human,
They are.
right? With their
Yeah.
own
They're worried about
hang-ups, their own
branding
motivations.
and whatever.
Yeah,
Listen, and
yes.
there's something you don't really think about, because we watch like Marvel and stuff, and why would we? But if superheroes were to exist in this kind of climate that we're in now, it's like they gotta eat. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they can save the world, but it ain't paying the bill. So they have to use other methods, whether it be branding,
And it's funny
incorporating
because they
themselves.
kind of brought that up a little bit with in Marvel with the Winter Soldier, Falcon Winter Soldier show, where Sam Wilson is basically he's got no money. He's not Tony Stark,
Right? Yeah.
right? He's
Yeah.
like, how you
Exactly.
making money? He's going to a loan and stuff. And so here it's like, okay, it's more of a pretty like the onion as far as showing them as real people, but they're just super powered, right? So they're not exactly great people with high morals and ethics. Most of them are the power gets to them, right? They're
Of
more in it for
course. Of
themselves.
course.
They're morally ambiguous
Yes.
at best. Collateral damage be damned.
But that's I think that's
whatever.
yeah that's a more
Evil.
that's a better more realistic interpretation, which I would think it would be like if there were superhuman beings out there, right? Listen, you gotta look out for yourself, and of
I
course,
mean, it's a
right?
corporation. It's a
It's
corporation. They're
about
selling
making
to the
money,
highest
and
bidder.
yeah.
selling
The
heroes.
brand,
Yeah,
image.
about branding themselves and trying to become one of the
Yeah,
premier
listen,
ones, the
you
seven,
gotta get.
right, and stuff. So, but
Yeah,
they're
you
not
gotta
good
get your
people. They're bad. These are
sneakers,
bad
the
dudes.
A-Train
You
sneakers
know.
and all. I get it, right? So, and obviously the boys, the organization, a group of guys want to bring them down, right? Well, for personal reasons more than anything else. Particularly Butcher, whose wife was killed by and raped by the hands of the main villain, Homelander, who's awesome on the show. He's so good. But yeah, I can't wait for this. I'm super excited. I think waiting for COVID delays and be
Yes.
damned. It's back, so we'll talk about that in a couple
And
weeks.
this, I'm not sure if you saw the
I
last
didn't because
trailer.
I didn't
I
want
did.
to. I didn't any spoilers,
But
so
good, good. I'm glad you didn't.
I
And
want to
you
be
want to be
surprised.
surprised. I mean, the teaser was great.
Yeah,
The
yeah. So the
music was
teaser's only
great.
interesting. Yeah,
It had
it's the
Dragon
boys, dude.
song to it. Yes. And but I saw it, and so we're gonna get
Which we knew.
Soldier
Yeah,
Boy, aka Hanson Ankles, and then we see some of the heroes. We see what's going on. The fight between the Supes and the government, and so there's a lot of stuff happening.
yeah,
It's really, really,
and I hope
it's
the
really
quality. Yeah, I
been.
hope the
I
quality
can't wait.
continues.
I'm
I'm
super
sure it will.
excited.
But like I said, this is a show where I can't wait for what it gives us. And I assume they're gonna drop 3 probably. That was the MO last year.
You never. Well, I mean, it's always changing, right? Some of these shows they drop 1 or 2, some they just drop 1. This one I wouldn't be surprised if this do 1 because there's an after show associated with this as well that they did last season.
We'll see. I
So
think it worked for
we'll
them.
see.
Mark, I think I read where every episode gained an audience, so it just behooves them to continue that pattern. I don't see why
Mhm.
they wouldn't. If a show this popular, you want to milk as
Yes,
much as much as you can, right? Yeah, just
absolutely,
which is why
absolutely.
Netflix get on board with that philosophy. But whatever. Need to hear another different discussion for a different day. But that being said, so again, not a big 2 weeks, but a big 2 weeks in terms of name. But talk about brand. We're talking about branding. Bam, right? Stranger Things, Obi-Wan, and the boys. That's as big. That's as good
Yeah,
as it
I
gets,
mean
right?
that's
Yeah,
a
it's a starting
stellar.
lineup in terms of name. Yeah,
That's one of those drops a month. That makes it a great month. Now we're getting
yeah,
3 of these at a period
yeah.
of one
That
week,
that's
right?
that's crazy.
And literally
Yeah,
1 week. 1 week Friday, and the next week we have 3 months watch shows. Hopefully, we know the Kenobi will weekly drop. We know Boys can be weekly drops. So Stranger Things is going to be big throughout
yeah,
that
of
week.
course. So,
So,
and I'm glad nothing else is dropping, so I can put my sole focus on these shows. For the most part.
well, I'm gonna be on vacation. So I'm not sure how much Stranger Things I'm
Well, at
gonna
least a couple.
watch.
At least a couple. But that being said, so we got the rest of the week. So well, at least I'll be watching. I know you have a hard time next the week. You're on vacation, so Disney World, Mickey Mouse, all that stuff. I get it. But that being said, so that's where we are. So a big show. 2 weeks worth of crap for you to go back and watch, right? He said it's not a lot coming out. There's a lot of shows out there besides the big ones coming out next. If you're not a Star Wars fan, I get it. That's okay, right? Now you can change your things, boys. There's plenty of other shit to watch. Just put on Apple Plus and pick a show at random. You're probably gonna be
Mhm.
satisfied. I'll be honest with you. Even HBO. So that being said, we'll leave it off there. Chewy, I'll be seeing you personally soon. And again, everybody out there, I hope you enjoy the show. Subscribe, like, share, etc. And we'll see you guys likely in 2 weeks. Enjoy your TV viewing at your leisure.
Oh,
Please.
before I forget, I have to give a shout out to my boy who is a graduate high school and has his official ceremony Wednesday night, barring any weather. Son,
Yes,
I
Mr.
love you.
Director.
Congratulations, and
Absolutely.
looking forward to more things.
Yeah,
4 years from
we're
now,
very
little
proud of you.
Chewy,
Looking forward to seeing you
growing
this
up.
coming week when you come visit. Very excited. But all the way, guys, take care. We appreciate it. See you guys next time.